One afternoon, Milo the cat decided he was brave enough to face the monster that lived in the the refrigerator. Every time it hummed, he puffed up his tail and swatted the air like a tiny lion, protecting his territory. His human laughed, patting him on the head. But Milo wasn't done proving his courage. He leapt onto the counter, crouched low, and gave his fiercest battle cry. Just as he prepared for an epic attack, the fridge made a sudden loud click. Milo jumped 3 feet straight up, knocked over a cereal box, and landed inside the empty grocery bag on the floor. Now trapped, he tried to look dignified, but the bag rustled with every wiggle, making him look like a cat-shaped burrito. His human pulled out a phone, laughing so hard they could barely hold it steady. Meanwhile, the other cat in the house, Luna, walked over calmly, sniffed the bag, and with one swift paw, tipped it over.
Milo rolled out like an angry potato, immediately licking his paw, as if nothing embarrassing had happened.
Luna sat nearby with the smug expression only cats can manage, as though she had just saved the day. The fridge hummed again, and Milo bolted under the couch still, convinced the monster had won. Later that evening, Luna decided it was her turn to show off. She spotted a tiny red dot moving across the living room carpet. Her human had pulled out the laser pointer, and Luna was certain this time she would catch it. She crouched, wiggled her backside, and launched herself forward like a rocket. The red dot darted up the wall. Luna scrambled after it, climbing halfway up the couch in a spectacular leap. She smacked her paw against the wall with full force, missing the dot completely. The only thing she managed to grab was the curtain, which immediately wrapped around her like a cape. She swung back and forth, dangling like a superhero who miscalculated her landing. Milo poked his head out from under the couch, his wide eyes staring at Luna's dramatic performance. He gave a soft MRRP, which sounded suspiciously like laughter. Luna finally dropped to the floor, shook out her fur, and strutted away with exaggerated dignity, pretending the whole thing had been intentional.
Of course, Milo ruined the act by batting at the loose piece of curtain that followed her like a tail.
The red dot returned to the carpet, but by then, Luna was done. She hopped onto the armrest, sat tall like a queen, and pretended she had better things to do than chase silly lights. Milo, on the other hand, crept out with cautious determination ready to prove he could succeed where Luna had failed.
Milo, determined to redeem himself, crouched low as the red dot slid across the carpet.
His tail twitched, his whiskers quivered, and his eyes locked in like a professional hunter. With a mighty leap, he pounced straight into the water bowl. Water splashed everywhere, soaking his paws and leaving a puddle across the floor. Milo froze in shock, standing in the bowl like he had discovered a new ocean. His human gasped before bursting into uncontrollable laughter. Luna, of course, wasted no time.
She strutted over, delicately dipped her paw in the puddle, and flicked a few drops at Milo's face, as if to say, "Nice job, sailor."
Milo shook his wet paws angrily, slipping and sliding across the tile like a cat on roller skates. He finally skidded into the hallway, bumping into a shoe, then sat down with the most offended look he could muster.
Luna, satisfied with the chaos, casually curled up on the couch and began grooming herself like royalty.
Milo sulked for a moment before deciding the best way to save face was to act as if he'd meant to do it all along. He gave a big stretch, flopped dramatically on his side, and pretended he was just cooling off. The human, still laughing, reached for a towel.
Luna purred smugly while Milo plotted his next great victory, one that wouldn't involve water, curtains, or grocery bags.
At least, that's what he thought. The house was finally quiet after the water bowl fiasco. The human had gone to bed, leaving Milo and Luna in the dim glow of the hallway light. For a moment, it seemed like peace had returned until the midnight Zoomies began.
Milo suddenly rocketed down the hallway at full speed, bouncing off walls like a furry pinball.
His paws thundered across the floor, and he let out a series of excited chirps as if he was chasing invisible prey.
Luna, disturbed from her nap, raised her head in annoyance.
But the second Milo zipped past her with his tail puffed up, something inside her snapped she had to join. Together, they tore through the house like tiny race cars. They leaped onto the couch, sprinted across the coffee table, and launched themselves over chairs in daring acrobatic stunts. A vase rattled, A picture frame tilted dangerously, and the lampshade got one swift smack from Milo's tail. At one point, both cats bolted into the kitchen and slid across the tile at the exact same time, colliding in a dramatic crash. They tumbled together in a blur of fur before separating, each glaring at the other as though it had been entirely the other's fault. Seconds later, as if nothing happened, they resumed their race. From the bedroom came a sleepy voice. Not again. Followed by a pillow being pulled over the human's head. Eventually, the two cats ended their marathon by collapsing on opposite ends of the couch, panting softly with wide, satisfied eyes. Milo licked his chest proudly, while Luna stretched out like a champion sprinter, showing off her victory pose.